Hey, Karen here, and I'm popping in with an extra episode here. This is my special New Year's letter to you. And I guess I don't know if it's a New Year's letter to you or it's just an episode about a New Year's letter to you. But at any rate, here we go. So the other day, actually a couple weeks ago, Dana and I were just hanging out talking about holiday letters because we had been starting to get, the holiday letters. And we were just kind of talking about them in general and how I never really felt much of a desire to put out a holiday letter. I mean, sometimes they can come across, a bit braggy. So you end up, seeing people show off their, super adventurous lives. And I guess that's kind of what Facebook and Instagram are for. So we were just joking around about this. And, then I started thinking, wouldn't it be funny to put out a holiday letter where I just talked about all the stuff that went wrong, or just maybe talked about really mundane things instead, the real life stuff. And so I was just playing with that idea and kind of riffing on it and started writing a couple ideas down just for funsies, just as a little project. And then I kind of put it off and procrastinated, really developing it. And so then it sort of slipped past Christmas. So it couldn't actually be a holiday letter because one of the big holidays was now over. And so it was sort of closer now to New Year's. And what happens when you get past Christmas is I've realized I get much more contemplative between December 26th and January 1st. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my little fun spoof holiday letter started to get kind of thoughtful, maybe dare I say meaningful. And it's actually really hard for me to stay in complainer or victim mode for very long. Anyway, even if it's for a joke of like writing all the stuff that goes wrong, it just kind of goes against my nervous system. And so even when I was like trying to joke and tell about stuff that went wrong and really boring things, I guess for me, adding insight to things is just a reflex. Like I can't stop myself. So that idea, born from Dana and I sort of sipping cappuccino and joking about which kind of holiday letters are the worst, turned into me writing a holiday letter. So, the irony. And so you are free to judge this holiday letter, this I guess, audio holiday letter. You're free to judge it for yourself, and maybe it'll be put on your list of worst holiday letters. I don't know. So this is ending up, it's a New Year's letter for you. It's a holiday, right? And it's somewhere between positive and real and raw. It's somewhere between reflective and optimistic. It's somewhere between deep and lighthearted. I mean, as if those were on some sort of sliding scale that you could actually get in between. Now, if you're worried that I might get a little preachy and poetic, don't worry. All right, I might get a little poetic at times and maybe accidentally preachy, but I don't really mean it. It's only that, like I said, I can't help but create lessons from life. So hopefully you and I will both have some fun. And I'm just happy to have followed through with this and brought this thought to completion, because many ideas that are conceived by Cappuccino, my most reliable muse, end up not making it this far. So I'm actually not going to mention the cool place I was when that cappuccino was being sipped on, because that would be too much like one of those holiday letters. And actually, I don't really think it matters that we took a super cool trip to a super cool place to do a super cool thing. And I want this letter to you to somehow be less about making my life seem so great to you and more about, whatever this turned out to be. So here we go. If I had to summarize 2024 in 5 words, they would be evolution, acceptance, simplicity, beauty, and time. So evolution. Now, I'm not done figuring out how to be in my 50s. And in 2025, I'm going to turn 60. Eek. So many people told me years ago, when you hit 40, your body starts falling apart. Well, I actually sailed through my 40s and most of my 50s feeling like I really beat the system. But this past year has just started to feel like I'm like a bucket of life and wellness, but some little holes are developing in that bucket, with new ones showing up at really inconvenient times. I'm thinking of you, root canal on the 4th of July weekend. I mean, it's all okay. I'm fine. There's fewer holes than I have fingers to plug them. But stopping the leaks makes it just a little harder to feel like I have a free hand to do other things. So evolution involves adopting new strategies for me to plug and heal those leaks while keeping my hands free to do more of what I would prefer to be doing. And evolution means me figuring out new ways to feed myself. What the heck, metabolism? So this year, like a warrior, I did the AIP elimination diet. Look it up. It's bleak, but it's just something you do temporarily. And I came out the other side feeling like a master of my domain. I slayed cravings. I slayed afternoon fatigue like a boss. I'm sleeping better than ever. I mean, I already ate pretty darn healthily. Healthfully. I already ate pretty healthily. That's the word I wrote down. I'm sticking with it. But this year, I had to get so much more refined and customized in how I feed my human body. And I'll say I'm maintaining about a 90% compliance rate. And the extra stuff that I just think of like as an inoculation to like keep my body resilient and warn it that sometimes sugar happens. Evolution means evolving my goals, my expectations, and my ways to do things. I'm okay with that. It's like new puzzles. And actually, horses have taught me long ago how to change my expectations and evolve my ideas to fit the new realities. So, apparently, health and wellness is my new hobby. And in spite of the inconvenience and the need for more planning around farmers markets and stuff like that, like taking care of myself is actually starting to feel like an honor rather than a sign of weakening. Strangely, I have this sense that in many ways, I'm actually the best I've ever been. And considering how 20-year-old Karen used to think about 6-year-old people, this kind of defies logic. But I'll take that as evidence of an evolved attitude. Evolution also has meant new ways of letting go of stuff. All kinds of stuff. I've also had to let go of a couple dear beings, which brings me to acceptance. Losing a loved one hurts my heart. It's a reality that's hard to accept, but it's impossible not to. I know you guys get it, so I'm actually not going to talk a lot about that here. I'm going to talk about another kind of acceptance. It's a more annoying kind, the kind related to aging, which, as Dana always says, is better than the alternative. So yes, I'm happy to be alive enough to witness my aging, but it does make it an exercise in acceptance. And I'm hearing myself and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, am I really at an age where I keep thinking about and talking about my age? Yes, I am. I am at that age because guess what, young people? It's freaking weird. This is weird. So much of the time, I actually have to remind myself that I'm a grown-up adult. I thought it would feel different when I was this age. I thought I would feel grown up, wise, and all these things. But I really just feel like my same self, which is what makes looking in the mirror like such a weird practical joke. What's really strange is like when I felt when I was young, I actually felt older. And now that I'm this age, I feel younger on the inside. And I'm wondering, was there ever an age where I kind of felt like those two things matched? There must have been, but I guess I wasn't thinking about it at the time. Maybe I'll go back to that strategy. Now, I have spent a lifetime having a thin, athletically firm body. And one day, not so long ago, I was in the closet getting dressed and I flinched when I felt something on the back of my upper thigh and was horrified to discover it was my butt. Age-related sag had happened. Now, I'd been watching it on my face, but I'd been able to delude myself that the rear view was still, magnificent. Now, I've never had that much of a butt, so I didn't even think there was enough there to actually sag. So it just seems really unfair. But there's no denying it. And like with my face, I'm not planning on any artificial lifting. So I'm trying to navigate figuring out how to totally accept myself without crossing the line into giving up or letting myself go. It's kind of a similar process to figuring out how to dress more comfortably. Oh my gosh. How to dress more comfortably, but still look like I care. Still look kind of put together. Hello, stretch fabric with elastic waistbands that looks like denim. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe I'm hearing myself say this. And how about the shirts with the built-in bras that aren't really bras? Or as Dana sometimes says, that shirt comes with boobs. But, at some point, you just don't really want to wear a bra anymore. Oh my goodness. I wish my younger self would have appreciated herself more at the time. Why is it easier to do that only when looking back? Now, I've been experimenting with time and space lately. So now I really try to see my current self through the eyes of my 80-year-old self, and I tell myself how amazing I am. It actually works sometimes. I've always thought it's not what you have, it's what you do with it. So I'm focusing more on living a life that creates an inner radiance, that causes my face to express love without fake smiling. A life that puts a spring in my step and gives me a posture of easy confidence. As far as clothing, really cool people can make anything they wear look good. So I'm continuing with my plan of just being a really cool person. That seems like the simplest option. Simplicity. I'd like to say that my new quest for simplicity comes from my natural Zen-like nature, but the reality is that between the reels and shorts and just about everything on the internet working to shorten, weaken, and destabilize our ability to focus, I crave simplicity so I can more successfully complete a few meaningful things fully. And when so much of running an online business lives in this invisible realm where one wrong click can create a cascade of actions in the background that I may or may not even know about, in a world of that, mucking a stall, petting my dog, or staring at a flower have become simple practices that I savor deeply. This has been a year of practicing simply enoughness. Knowing when something is simply enough and when I am simply enough is an art to master. I'm getting better and better at being satisfied with less and trying to truly experience the moreness of less. I've been doing this with horses for a long time and even more consciously now, and I've been amazed at how much gets done, at how much they learn with taking less time to do less at exactly the right time. Now, maybe some of you are twitching thinking, but what about achieving things? Are you giving up on your goals and yourself? Don't you need to stay current? To which I say, I don't know, maybe. I mean, would it matter? If I have a goal to simply live more simply in acceptance, then perhaps not achieving everything I used to think was necessary is meeting my new evolved goal. I kind of want to say that I could sit on the couch and contemplate a flower for as many hours as I want, and I don't care what anyone thinks, but I'm not there yet. I still feel like I should be, doing something. Sometimes I'll say to Dana, I really need to go do fill in the blank, but I just feel like sitting here. To which he so wisely replies, go with it. I can report that the more I feel content doing whatever I am doing or not doing, the happier I am and the more energy I end up having to actually do stuff. I think it's Eckhart Tolle who says, the only thing that's worth doing is the thing you're doing. But even just me saying that, I get the feeling that the more I'm willing to do nothing, the more I get done. I feel like just saying that is a paradox that clearly illustrates that I still secretly have a need to be productive. As if simply basking in the beauty of a flower wasn't enough. Work to do. Or whatever the opposite of doing work. Maybe just accepting the contemplation. Beauty. Hashtag beauty is everywhere is what I often add to the photos that I post on Instagram and Facebook. Now, a nice side effect of evolving into a more accepting, simple lifestyle is that I'm noticing more beauty everywhere. It happens the other way around too. By purposely seeking to notice beauty in things that may easily be overlooked, it causes me to change my focus and appreciate simple things more. So I notice the beauty in the cracks in the sidewalk, and that helps me love my own wrinkles a little more. I notice the beauty in a flower past its bloom, a warped reflection in a window, and the strange shadows I make in the moonlight, and I'm happier. Regularly, I'll come into the house after doing night hay for the horses and exclaim to Dana how amazingly beautiful the full moon is, to which he often replies, the moon isn't full yet for a couple more days. And at first I used to feel a little bummed, but then I realized that it didn't have to be full to be at its most beautiful, and it looked full to me anyway. So now, every month, I get to enjoy several days of a full moon, where most people only get to enjoy one. Having more time to enjoy things seems more important to me now. Time. Time likes to mess with me. It takes me more time for most things because, can you relate? I walk into a room with my laptop to get a glass of water, then leave with the water but no laptop. So I go back to get the laptop and return to see my cat drinking out of the water glass. So I take the water glass back to the kitchen to get fresh water, only to be followed by the cat who now wants food. So I feed her, I go back to the couch, sit down, open the laptop, and get 1 minute in before I realize I'm still thirsty. And I go back to the kitchen to retrieve the water glass. Yet, I'm also finding that it takes me less time to untangle more complex challenges. And I know that this is in great part due to the evolution towards acceptance, simplicity, and beauty. Things become clearer and easier, and they take less time when I focus on the most simple and beautiful solutions. In 2024, it really dawned on me that I may not have all the time in the world. I saw a drawing the other day, a graphic, and it had a circle with a bunch of dots in it. And the dots represented things you know, and they filled up the circle. Then there was another circle with the same number of dots in it, same number of dots of knowledge, but the circle was so much bigger. So actually the dots took up a much smaller space within it. Right now, I feel like that second circle. The past decades have been about me filling up my circle of awareness with stuff I know. It's called learning, and it's been the main focus of so much of my life. However, this past year or two, it's been about growing my circle of awareness, creating an expanded experience of the universe and how I'm a part of it. So even though I'm pretty sure I haven't gotten dumber, and I'm more confident about the wisdom that I do have, about what I've learned, that gap between my awareness of what could be known, that circle, and what I do know, the dots in it, that gap is huger. And with that expanded circle, it could easily make me feel like I know less. So a lot of this year has been about figuring out how to feel good about all that. And there is a lot to feel good about that. Acceptance strikes again. Evolution strikes again. Or rather, maybe instead of striking again, it feels more like evolution wraps its arms around me and gives me a big hug, whispering in my ear, "It's okay to relax. You are still enough." In the past, I've done sort of a combination of trying to fill up my circle with more dots of knowledge and then sharing as much as I can. And I think maybe the ratio of how much of each of those things I do is changing, or maybe it's just the motivation behind it all. I'm starting to feel more and more ease around the empty spaces, and some ease around not needing to share everything. I could always add more knowledge. I could do that. I do like learning. But I no longer feel like I need to learn. And I can always share more knowledge, but I no longer feel like I need to share. Not because I think I know everything, not because I don't like sharing, but because I'm just starting to question who it is I'm trying to impress. I do know I don't like the feeling that I have to scramble to be more or to be better. I don't like the feeling that I'm running out of time. From what I can tell so far, the more I focus on that circle of awareness, those empty spaces, the more those dots of knowledge can float around and connect with each other in really interesting ways instead of just being all bunched up. So I'm doing my best to swim and delight in the empty space of what I don't know and enjoy the mystery. And that works most of the time. I'm playing with letting go, dissolving into nothing, dropping into an experience of not knowing. I've stuck a couple toes in that water, and it feels pretty darn amazing, and so much bigger than my pride could be about stuff Karen knows. Now, don't be too impressed. With all of this said, I still feel like I do need more time, and I still feel like I don't know enough. I still get frustrated and angry with the world and super critical about myself. So there's that. Although I don't think that's really me. That's just my little human self. I'm glad I have more time to practice all this new year ahead. Knowing that things can't last forever makes now even sweeter. And I've decided to be more consciously grateful for the active, athletic lifestyle I'm still able to enjoy. I mean, someday someone might tell me I need to stop riding my horses bareback and bridleless, but today is not the day. Sometimes, with increasing frequency, when I'm doing something I love, I get the distinct feeling of me being my older self, looking back on it at the exact same time I'm experiencing it. I get to enjoy it as myself now and as my older self looking back on it with love. In that moment, I'm in two times and spaces at once. The other evening, my current self visited one of my past selves. It was here at my place. She or I don't know how to describe it. She was teaching a clinic. I walked by and stopped in my tracks. "Look at her," I exclaimed. Like, wow. My heart just burst open from watching her, or me, or whoever that was, from watching her like do her thing, do my thing, with such energy and such passion. And I felt such pride and love for us. I've got more than a sneaking suspicion that we are all of ourselves in all times, at once, everywhere, all the time. And that's a pretty cool thought to start 2025 with. So that's what my year's been like. Evolution, acceptance, simplicity, beauty, and time. Yeah, and I went some places, and I did some things, and I met some people. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed my holiday letter. I wish you the happiest of New Year's, and I wish you a life in love.